In our SME feature this week, we speak to natural hair enthusiast and entrepreneur Mthembu Fawkes. Mami, take us through where you started with the brand Earthy.
Well, Earthy is a pretty new brand, only 6 months old, 5 months old actually, and it's something that I've always wanted to do, something that I tried doing before. It's a trial and an error type of project, and now I finally gotten to the right formula. It's a business that I started purely out of frustration from my side. I always struggled growing my hair. And as a result, I decided it's about time that I did something about it and do natural hair care because chemically treated hair never worked for me. So that's where the idea came about. And then I've spent, although the business is only 5 months old, I would say it's a 4-year project. It's taken me about 4 years to master the actual product and get the formula correct. Finally. So it is something that I've been working on for quite a few years, and I think now I've finally gotten the right formula.
And how is it going so far? How is it being received?
I'm actually quite surprised. You know, when I tell people that Earthy is 5 months old, they look at me and go, you can't be serious. It feels as though it's a company that's been around for about 4 years. I've been very lucky. I haven't had haters or anything like that. I've just been received quite well. I think it's something that a lot of, especially ethnic women, have been hungry for years. And now it's finally here and they're like, wow, you know, I've been well received, basically.
I see you have a very healthy presence on social media. How has that worked for you?
I never used to be the social media type of person. I'm actually surprised myself with social media, but it has worked amazingly for me. It's been such a great platform for my business because I don't just sell a product, I also educate. So I find that social media has helped me with that. I'm able to touch so many other people, especially as a small business. You need to have exposure, and social media has given that to small businesses. I'm quite active now on social media. I'm still learning about social media, but it has proven to be quite an effective model from a marketing perspective for my business.
Speaking of that marketing element side of the business, do you find that social media has somewhat come as a bridge to cutting costs?
It has. It really, really has, because, you know, when you're starting off as a small business, it's really difficult to have a big marketing budget and be like, you know, I'm going to be on television and have this big ad campaign, whereas on social media, you can just think it up and not have to take out all that money for the ad campaign. You can create your own little ad campaign and then it will be well received. And I think in social media, people have an understanding as well, where the expectation is not too harsh, where you're expected to have these flamboyant advertising campaigns, whereas on social media you can kind of work with your small budget and still get the message across. So it has worked out really well, and it's a great medium if you don't have the finances.
Let's talk funding now. Which route did you go?
I've gone my own route. I'm completely self-funded. I'm completely self-funded at the moment. I think I will look at funding, but I've gone down the route of funding before. And this is going to sound a little bit strange, but I found that it deterred me. It slowed me down. I'm very quick. I want things done quickly. I know what my vision is. I know where I want to go with this business. And I don't want to be tied down right now to red tape. And I find that the red tape in the 6 months that I've had, or 5 months that I've had, my business has already gone international, which is something that wouldn't have happened if I was still relying on other people who don't necessarily understand my concept. It's a very difficult concept. It hasn't completely been received, and not everybody understands the medium. When you come with this idea and you go, look, I'm trying to get ethnic women to embrace their natural hair, and they're like, well, everybody in the world would have done that by now, Mami, why are you doing it? And I find that having to explain myself just doesn't work. I'm a mover and a shaker, and I need to get things done. And I think for me, I will start thinking about funding later when maybe my concept has been proven and people can just get on board with me, because I just, at this space, it's been difficult for me to try and still get people on board.
That's an interesting way of having gone around that, and I applaud you for that. You highlighted that having tried and it being a deterrent, it sounds to me like a challenge. Have there been any other challenges in this journey?
Wow, I've had I've had too many challenges. I think every day in my business is a challenge, from not having enough support. I come from a heavy corporate background where I used to have a team reporting to me, and I used to have these massive budgets, and if there was a problem, I would just scream at marketing and be like, marketing, why didn't you do A, B, and C? And those things were so much easier. And then what I found is that with my business, you struggle a bit more. You're the call center agent, you're the salesperson, you're the marketing person, you are in procurement, you're the one that's handling the finances, and those come with their own challenges. As much as I consider myself a savvy person in business, you don't know it all. You cannot know it all. And I think that's where most of the challenges come from. And of course, finance. That is a huge challenge, and exposure. That's another one, because in a big corporate, you just bring us your budget and you go, next month we're going for this ad campaign, we're going to be on radio, we're going to be on TV, we're going to be there, we're going to do these events, we're going to do these activations, and everything is going to work out. And in your small business, that is not the case. You cannot just randomly think, I'm going to do an activation next month, because that's going to cost a lot of money. So I think finance, exposure, assistance, that's where the challenges come about, and that's mostly where my challenges are.
On a more positive, you mentioned going international. That is a great milestone. Tell us about that.
It is. I think that plan for me was going to be in a year. I was planning to go international maybe in a year or two. But like I said, everything that I do in my business is quite fast. It's very, very speedy. And we did a pilot last 2 months ago in London, just to see how people are going to perceive the brand, if they're going to understand the brand. It was quite small, but I did have an audience. People came through, and there's a lot of South Africans in England who were eager and excited and were just appreciative of the brand, and they were like, we will support you and we'll get the word out there. And it was a pilot, like I said. I wanted to trial it first to see what the reception would be overseas, and it's been good. So the plan is to be fully in England. That will be the next point for Earthy. The UK is our next step, and possibly the US.
Amazing. Where do we find your products?
Okay, so at the moment I've got an online store. It's on www.earthy.co.za. You can purchase the products online, and we deliver anywhere in South Africa as long as you are in Metro. And I sometimes do pop-up stores. So I will have a pop-up store possibly once a month, because I find, remember, I don't just sell a product. I also sell myself, if you want to call it that, where a lot of people want to engage with me, learn more. So I do the pop-up shop so that there is an opportunity for them to ask questions and we can engage, and I teach them different techniques as well. So that's where they can find me. And I've got a YouTube channel as well, where people can go and watch my videos where I talk about the product, not just the product, but the whole transitioning for the ethnic woman to say, okay, fine, what do I do? What do I do with this hair? So those are the platforms that I currently have.
Lastly, what advice would you have to an upcoming entrepreneur?
I think the most important thing is work ethic. I find I meet a lot of entrepreneurs, and what I've found to be lacking mostly is the work ethic. A lot of people have these $1 million dreams with like a minimum wage work ethic, and they don't yet understand that there's a lot of hard work that goes into it. So I think the first thing that I would advise is be prepared for the hard work. It's going to be much harder than what you anticipated. Whatever you thought was going to be hard, take that, multiply it by 150. That's how difficult it's going to be, especially in the first year or 2 or 3. Another thing is, I think you need to feel the fear and do it anyway. A lot of people will look at me and think, you're so bold, you just attack things. And I'm like, I'm the most fearful person in the world. I wake up every day and I fear everything. I could fear that this cup is going to break. Now, I have fears all the time, but I allow myself to feel that fear and I still do it anyway. I think it's one of those things, like a lot of people say, don't have fear. And it's like, well, that's abnormal. We're human. You're going to have fear. But you need to feel it and go ahead and do it anyway. Take risks, dare to be different. And a lot of people who are entrepreneurs, they always try very hard. They think too much. They're like, I want to do this thing, and then I'm going to do this technologically enhanced thing, but you don't have the technical know-how. Always look at your current situation. Think about when you wake up in the morning. What are the things that you use on a daily basis? Somebody has a business that provides for your daily life. Look at that as yourself and say, what do I use as Dumi every single day? Maybe there lies a business idea. So that is, keep it simple. That's what I would say, and have the passion for it.
That was natural hair enthusiast and entrepreneur Mthembu Fawkes, the owner of the brand Earthy.